Hello everyone, welcome to week 2 of my 12 weeks of Christmas. I'm so excited to bring you today's project, one of my favorite gift card holders of all times. I've made projects similar to this in the past, and so I'm really excited to bring this one to you. So this gift card holder is a double slider. So when you pull on the little ribbon on the left, it slides out. You have your gift card here. Now, ideally, I think I would put like a Christmas gift card to a coffee place, Starbucks, Dutch Brothers, whatever one you want. And then on this side, you can even attach a second gift card, or you can write a greeting, a little message, whatever you want. But when you push it back, everything slides back in. You pull it out. It's so cute. It's so much fun. So I can't wait to bring this one to you. I can't wait to show you this. This would be great for stocking stuffers. This would be great for a coworker gift, especially if there's, like a smaller limit, a $5 to $10 limit on coworker gifts or Secret Santa gifts. This would be a great one too. So let's go ahead and make this one. Let me talk about the products that we're using for this project first. So I am using the More Than Autumn stamp set and dies. These are not, well, no, I don't think these are sold as a bundle anymore. But they have, they're both in the online store. I love them. This is one of my favorites. I believe this one came out last year, maybe the year before. We've had this one for a while, and the dies are fantastic with it. So you can do so many different things. You can do hot chocolate, eggnog, apple, pumpkin. I mean, so many different things, and the dies coordinate so perfectly with it. So we're using that one, and I'm also using the new patterned tags dies. These are in the new mini catalog. I love these. I'm getting so much use out of these. We're actually going to use these a ton next week. So if you love these dies, make sure you join us for week 3. These are fantastic dies. I love them. We're going to use them a ton. All right, let's start with our mechanism for our little slider here. So let's go ahead and jump into that. I'm going to grab my Simply Scored, my cart out of the way so I can get to it. All right, so I have a piece of real red that is 4.5 by 8.5, and I'm going to do some scoring on it. I'm going to all the measurements will be listed in the video description in case I say something incorrectly. So make sure you check the measurements in the video description for correct measurements. Sometimes I mispronounce something, so please check the video description or on my blog. There'll be a link to my blog also in the video description. All right, so on the 8.5 inch side, we are going to score it at 2 5/8. At 5 3/8, I'm doing this very slowly because I don't want to mess this up. And at 8 1/8. Okay. So 2 5/8. I'm just going to double check. 5 3/8 and 8 1/8. Okay. All right. We did it. Let's see if this works. Now I've made these sliders in the past, and they're not complicated to make, but it always takes me a couple of tries to make them. As such with this one, I had to make myself a little template with it. I have, and I'll show you in just a second. Okay, so, and you'll notice that the template I have is a little bit different than the, at least size-wise, because I had to redo some measurements. But here's my template, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to end up adding a little slider mechanism over here. So that's our ultimate goal. So I have my the piece we scored, and I have my template. So what we're going to do is punch a couple of little notches in the top and the bottom of this far panel. So we have our little 3/8 of an inch tab over here. In the very far panel over here, we're going to cut a few little notches. And for that, I'm going to use the Heartfelt Hexagon Punch. And I'm just going to position my cardstock in here. Now, if you want to make marks and do it directly in the center, you can. I'm not going to worry about it being directly in the center. Nobody's ever going to see this part, so it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be exactly center. I am going to try to line it up as close to the center as I can, but it doesn't have to be in the center. But you can see I'm only punching out maybe like 1/4 of an inch. We're not punching out a ton. Okay, we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. So I'm just kind of maneuvering it in there just to get just a little portion of it, just like that. And then we'll punch it out. And so what you should have is 2 notches, one in the top and one in the bottom of this piece on the far right with your little tab on the left. Okay. All right. Now to get this little plastic piece, because this is really what's going to make it move. This little plastic piece. I have taken a gallon Ziploc bag, and I've actually just cut the bottom of it off. I just cut like a 1-inch strip of it. Well, cut the bottom of it off and then cut a 1-inch strip, because you just need like a ring of plastic. Now, if you have other like cellophane bags or stuff like that, that will also work too. Now I'm going to come over here to the little side seam, and I'm going to cut that off as well. And I'm going to cut as close as I can to it, because we want to preserve most of the bag. Actually, I'm going to use different scissors. I'm not going to use my paper snips. Let's grab these. So we're just going to kind of trim off that edge piece. That's really just what you want to trim off, and that's going to be trash. All right, now we're going to open this up and to the other edge piece, and we're just going to kind of trim right next to that, so that we just have like one, like the front of the Ziploc bag, essentially. All right, now I know that's like clear. It's going to be a little bit hard to see, but I'm gonna hopefully be able to show you this. All right, so we do not want to adhere this to the cardstock, but we want to adhere this to each other. So we're going to make a loop. So I've just wrapped it around, and I've just kind of nestled it into those notches. So you can kind of see that that plastic is nestled into the notches. And I'm going to use some tear and tape. You need something that's just going to hold it to itself. I found tear and tape works pretty well for this. So just add a little bit of adhesive to the front of that piece and carefully take off the backing. Okay. And then you want to make sure that it's wrapped right, that everything is nestled in those notches, and it's kind of, that it's like taut, not super tight. It still needs to move, but just nice and kind of, yeah, I don't know another word, like taut. Like, now before we trim anything off, just make sure that it actually moves back and forth. And this one does. So I'm actually going to take my bone folder and just make sure that this is nice and burnished, nice and well. And then I'm going to grab my scissors again. And then anything that's just excess, we're just going to trim that off because we don't need that. Okay. All right, we're cruising along. All right, now I'm going to move this so that the little seam, actually, I'm going to trim that just a little bit more. It's still a little bit too much on there. Well, I'm sure it's fine, but I'm going to be picky. Normally, I am not a big perfectionist about stuff like this, but for this, because this is our mechanism, I just want to make sure that we don't have any loose ends hanging off. Okay. I think we're there. I think we're good. So I'm going to push this so the adhesive is almost all the way to the top up here. Maybe like a 1/2 inch from the top. And that's just because we want our seam to be, pulled down this way. We don't want our seam to cross over to the other side. So I hope that makes sense. I've just found if the seam starts to cross over to the other side, if it wraps around to the other side, that's when you really start to have problems. So if you start with your seam right on top, then you'll have less problems, I've found. All right, I'm gonna put some adhesive. I didn't get a big enough piece that time, so I'll have to do 2 little pieces. Only onto the plastic. Make sure that it doesn't go onto the cardstock, because again, this piece needs to move. All right, let's see if we can get these backings off. Just the backings. We don't want to pull the adhesive off. Sometimes this is hard. Okay, I think we got it. I do want to just make sure that this adhesive just gets folded over, wrapped that way. All right, so we just want to make sure that the adhesive is not on the cardstock. All right, I'm going to set that aside just for a second. That adhesive is still exposed, but let's talk about a couple of our other pieces. So the panels that are going to pull out, like that. So we have 2 panels that are going to pull out. I have 2 pieces of real red, and these panels are 4 1/4 by 2 3/8. I have 2 pieces of basic white that are 2 1/8 by 4. We're going to put those on here. Now, I put white on both of my panels, but I did realize that once you put the gift card on there, the white completely disappears. So it's really up to you. I mean, you could put the white on there, write a message under the gift card, but it's really up to you on which, if you want to put a white panel on there or not. Okay, let's put these on. We're going to adhere these together before we start putting everything else together. So let's adhere these together first. You're just going to get a little border of white. Okay, and again on this side. All right, so we have 2 panels that are completely identical at this point. And that, I mean, even if you end up covering the white with the gift card, it's really good to start with 2 identical panels because you can kind of play around with it in the end. Okay, so for this one, hold on. I just want to look at my mechanism real quick because I want to make sure that I'm telling you correctly. Okay. Yes, okay. I think I'm telling you correctly. All right, we're going to do a white side up on this one, and we're going to line it up. I'm going to kind of line it up right against the edge here and centered between the edge of the cardstock and that score line. We're going to give it a press. It's been a while since I've made these sliders, so I always have to kind of double check. Now you can see that this is going to pull like that, and it's going to go back and forth, and that's exactly what we want. All right, so now we're going to flip it over, and I'm going to actually pull this out just a little bit so we can kind of see where we're lining this up. I'm going to flip it over to the back side. We're going to take another piece of tear and tape, and this time we're going to put the adhesive on the opposite side. So you can see we glued it on the left side here. So this on the back, we're going to glue it on the right side. Okay. Make sure that's nice and adhered down before you try to peel it up. Oh, brother, please. I was having such good luck, guys. Sometimes that adhesive just doesn't want to. I think we got it. I think. All right, talk amongst yourselves. Here we go. Okay. All right, now this is an important step. You want to make sure that you adhere this one upside down because when you pull them out, you both want them to be going the correct way. So I have this one kind of lined up, and I'm going to adhere this one down, but I'm making sure that it's lined up top and bottom with this one so that they're even. And that's why I pulled that one out just a little bit. Okay. So once this is folded up like this is how your card is going. It's going to fold out. Isn't that amazing? So fun. Okay, now that it's working, let's go ahead and adhere this down. So I'm going to open this up all the way, and I'm going to put some adhesive on the inside of this piece. Because it's only 3/8 of an inch wide, I'm going to use my tear and tape again, and we're just going to put a line of adhesive right here all the way across. You need that to stay nice and secure. So some tear and tape. Let's get the adhesive off of this. Maybe. Okay, there we go. All right, now when you adhere this down, we are going to tuck it under this little panel here. Well, it's going to wrap around. So this piece is going to wrap this way. And I'm going to pull these out just a little bit like this so that they don't, so we can pull them out eventually. So it's going to wrap over this piece, but only adhere to this piece right here. So I hope that makes sense. So let's see if I can show you this. So the adhesive is only going to attach to this back piece. It will not attach to the pieces that are sliding. Okay, see? Magic! Magic! Isn't that fantastic? It is so cool. I just love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, now to give an indication that you need to pull one side of it, let's go ahead and fancy that up a bit. Let's put, hold on. Oop, I'm losing pieces over here. I have a piece, here it is. I have a piece of, what is this, soft seafoam that I punched with that same punch. And we are going to just fold it in half. Let's see, how did I fold it in half? This way. Yes. Fold it in half like this. Okay. we're good. Now you want this to be super secure. So I'm actually going to use some liquid glue. I'm only going to put liquid glue on the little points on each side. We want this to stick out just a little bit so that people know that they need to pull it. So on one of your sides, at this point it really doesn't matter too much, but on one of your sides, just go ahead and adhere that on. Whoops, nice and straight. Adhere that down just like that. So this is just going to be a little tab. Now, this is the tab that your gift card is going to go on, and I like to do that one on the top one that's sliding. So I don't know if you can see that. This is the one that's on the top. This is the one that's on the bottom. I like the gift card to be on the top. I don't know why. I mean, it's all going to be like nestled in together, but I think that it catches on less if it's on the top. The less stuff you have on the bottom one, I feel like sometimes those things can catch. So I like to do it on the top. I really don't know if that makes a difference. All right, now for our gift card, I'm just going to use some glue dots, and we're just going to put just one on each edge. Glue dots are great for holding gift cards because you can peel them up easily and just pull that glue dot off so that people can still use them. So, and I'm just going to kind of nestle this in just like this. Just press that down. You can pull that off. If you want to write a message under the gift card, you absolutely can. Okay, now to further indicate that you need to pull here, I'm going to take a little 1/8 inch handheld punch. I'm just going to punch a little hole right through our little tag. And we are going to tie some of our red and white ribbon through there to make a bow. So let me grab some scissors. I'm just going to cut a length off. And we are going to, I'm just going to fold that in half. I want a double bow. I'm not sure I actually gave myself enough to do a double bow, but we'll see. Just slide that through the opening. Well, oh goodness. Goodness. Of course, this is only when the video's on, right? It's like, hey, how can I make your life harder today? Okay, there we go. Let's see if we can tie a small bow. It's not going to be as big as our other one, but that's okay. We just need a little bow. You can use anything here. You don't have to use baker's twine. You can use any other ribbon. You can even use, do a little stamp that says pull or something. That would be fine too. I'm just going to cut this little loop. Maybe. There we go. Okay, so we have a little bow. This one was much bigger. This one's more fluffy, bigger, but either one works. Either one works. And that, we're going to go ahead and close that up. Close this one up so we can work on the front. But that is going to indicate, so it's not going to go all the way in because we have all that stuff on there. But that's going to indicate that it needs to be pulled a little bit, okay? All right, let's work on the front of our little holder here. And it just occurred to me, I didn't cut my DSP for this, so never fear. Let's just grab a piece. I think that's not going to be big enough. Okay, I am using the Christmas tags DSP, so let me grab a piece of that. And let me cut a piece. Let me see, what is my DSP? 4 1/4 by 2 1/2. So we'll go 4 1/4 by 2 1/2. Okay. I don't know why I didn't cut that one in advance, but that's okay. Here we are now. This is going to go on the front. I love this plaid pattern. That's going to go right on the front. All right, now let's talk about our stamping. I've already stamped everything, and I'm going to color these very quickly. This video is already 20 minutes long, and the real technique here is the actual slider thing. So we're not going to go too much into the actual coloring of this. For the donut, let's see, I used crumb cake dark. You want to use some dark in around the center here of the donut, and then just some along the little exposed parts of the donut. The donut is really, it's not shown too much, so really you don't have to go crazy with actually coloring the donut. And then I'll just go in with the light and just kind of blend out any of that dark. All right, so, I mean, the donut, you don't have to do too much coloring with the donut. I have light and dark real red, and I'm just gonna open up both of these, and I'm just going to like go over the the little sprinkles. I'll just do a few of each color. There's not too big of a differentiation of the colors, especially when they're used in this form. So you could use one color altogether, but just, you know, white icing, some red sprinkles. All right, for the little candy canes, you'll need to actually die cut. You'll need to stamp and die cut 4 of them because I used 2 on the inside here, and then we have 2 extra here. So but the candy canes are all colored the same. I just used my dark and just did every other stripe. Okay. For the cup, I'm just going to use my dark because cups are round. It's going to be darker on the edges, and then where the little sleeve is overlapping, it's going to be a little bit darker. And then we'll just fill it in with the light. And you'll do the same exact technique along the bottom. Just fill in with the light. So just kind of along the bottom of the sleeve, along the edges here, and then just fill in with the light. And I am doing a horrible job. I'm getting outside the lines everywhere. Oh my goodness. All right, now I didn't color the little sleeve, but you'll do the crumb cake the exact same way with the sleeve. Just be careful going around the candy cane. But you'll do the crumb cake the exact same way. Now for the whipped cream, I didn't want to feel like I had forgotten to color it, so we're just going to add a little bit of texture. And I don't know if this is going to show up on camera, but so I'm just doing light pool party, and I'm just kind of going over all those little wavy lines. And then you'll just go in with your color lifter and just kind of go over those pool party lines. It's not going to take away the color. It's just going to kind of soften those lines a little bit, and it's just going to look like the whipped cream has some texture. All right, now I've already die cut all those pieces for you after coloring them. So we are ready to go. And I actually only have 2 candy canes. I forgot my other 2. I've stamped my greeting. Out of that More Than Autumn die set, I die cut the season here, Peppermint Season. I put an adhesive sheet on the back of that. That's really going to help us adhere this down. Now for our tag pieces, let's move this piece out of the way. For our tag pieces, I have the bow that I have die cut. And again, it's on an adhesive sheet, and that's going to help us out in the end there. And then I also have, so I have the plain tag, and then I have this beautiful like leaf pattern tag. And again, die cut on adhesive sheets. Let's see if I can peel this off. There we go. And pull all those little pieces out. So pretty. This one out. This one out. Look at how pretty. Now this is on an adhesive sheet, which is gonna, again, it's gonna make our life easier, people. So make sure you're using those adhesive sheets. You just have to remember to put them on before you die cut, and then it makes your cardstock just like a sticker, and it's beautiful. And it makes your life seamless and easy, and I love it. All right, so that's gonna be stuck on there. I'm gonna grab my bone folder and from the back, give it a nice burnish. Now this little bow in this, the pattern tags dies is adorable. And there's a third piece down there, the little bow center. Okay, it is so, so cute. So I'm going to attach this down. I had to use this. I didn't want to use another ribbon because we had already used the ribbon on the side, but I didn't want this hole to be like, hello, you forgot about me. So I'm going to attach these little bow pieces, and that will make it look just completely adorable. And it's going to give it like this little double bow look, which is just adorable. So you're just going to layer those up, and then this little tiny piece. Let's see if I can get the backing off of this piece. We'll see. Let's see. Oh, I think I did it. I'm just going to use my Take Your Pick tool and just place that down just right in the center. Give that a good burnish. And again, that little piece is stuck to my finger now. Again, I'm just going to turn it over and give it a really good press with my bone folder. The adhesive sheets are fantastic, but you really have to adhere them well. Make sure that they are really well pressed in, and then they'll stick forever. But just make sure they're well pressed in. So cute, right? Isn't that tag adorable? Okay, now let's do this little tag. This little tag's going to go over here. I already white heat embossed the peppermint greeting. And let's see if we can pull out the season. We're going to put this piece on next. You can see how like small this is and how die cutting on an adhesive sheet is really going to help you out here. Let's see if I can peel this off. And I'm hoping those little centers will just come right out with the adhesive sheet. Perfect. Look at that. Okay. And again, it's nice and sticky. So peppermint, season. Just like that. Give it a really good burnish. Again, I like to do it from the back just because you're able to really press it down and give it a lot more leverage without worrying about messing it up on the front. Gorgeous, right? So cute. I can't help it. All right, let's grab some dimensionals. I'm going to stick this little greeting. I stamped this in advance again. This just the cut to the height and the width of the words. I'm looking for scissors. Here we go. And I'm just going to grab just a little tiny strip of the edge of my dimensionals here. You can use mini dimensionals too. I think mini dimensionals will fit. It's a pretty small piece, but just stick a little strip on the back, just like that, and that will go right on the top here. You can add any greeting you want here, I think, but I love these greetings in this stamp set. It's so cute. All right, we are ready to really start assembling this, so let's get some dimensionals. Now that all the hard work is done, now it's just about assembling. All right, for this white tag, it's going to hang off a little bit on the top and the bottom, so I'm keeping the dimensionals toward the middle. Oh my goodness. Dimensionals. Oh man. Dimensionals. Dimensionals, why are you against me today? All right, and then this guy, we'll just put some along the top there. All right, let's bring in our piece here. I'm gonna put this one on first. This one's gonna kind of get lined up right against the edge here. Kind of make sure it's straight top and bottom. And this one will go right next to it. Just like that. Oh, it's coming along so cute, right? All right, we're going to put dimensionals on the back of our coffee cup. Or hot chocolate. Maybe it's peppermint hot chocolate. I don't know. And on the back of our whipped cream. So let's put our little coffee cup on there. Add the whipped cream on top. Our little donut. I'm only going to put one dimensional just kind of off to the side here. So it's going to overlap on the other side. So I'll just put a little bit of adhesive on the other side just so everything sticks down nice and even. Just like that. All right. Now for the little candy canes, the two on the front, I'm just going to put a little bit on the back of one of them, just on the kind of on the bottom, a little bit of adhesive. And this one I'm just going to tuck so it's coming out of the coffee or the hot chocolate, whatever we decided that was. And then the same for the other one, just a little bit on the back. And that one will just kind of be popping out this way. And if you wanted to cut two more, you can adhere them the same way, just add a little bit of adhesive or use adhesive sheets when you die cut them and then just put them on the inside. And that is it. I'm going to let that one kind of dry and set up, but that is it. What do you guys think of this adorable gift card slider? Now you can use, I mean, any images, especially from that More Than Autumn stamp set, to make this gift card holder. It is so adorable. It would make a perfect gift. It's such a wow gift too, because it's more than just a gift card holder. It's super interactive and people will love it. Oh, we forgot our little dots. Hello. I have them right here. These are the new deer dots. They're so cute. Let's do the green ones real quick because they're too cute not to use. And it adds to our, oh, come on. Come on. Again, it's like, forget it, lady, we're done. You said we were done. All right, there we go. All right, guys, I hope you guys love this one. I'll be back next week for week 3, where we're going to use those decorative tag die cut dies again. I hope you guys like this one. Make sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any week of my 12 Weeks of Christmas series. Thanks for hanging in with me. I know this one was a little bit of a longer video, but I think it was worth it because this gift card slider is so cute. All right, guys, thanks for joining me. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.